As always, Ted, kick us off. Who do you have as your winner of the week?
Well, the first thing we got to do is let's talk about what a winner is. A
Okay.
winner is a person that um, will put the team above themselves. A winner is a person that, above all else, above money, above fame, above statistics, that person wants to win football games, wants to pursue a championship. And Julio Jones wants a trade. He wants out of Atlanta. And the Patriots, baby, that's one of his locations. He wants to be a winner, Gabe Ikard. That's what Julio Jones wants. He wants to go to a place where you can win championships. I think this is fantastic. I hope it happens. Be a perfect fit for him. He's trying to go win some football games. He's got an enormous amount of stats. Everyone knows how good he is. Pro Bowls, everything. The man wants to go win, and he two of the places that I've heard, New England and Tennessee, two really good organizations. I hope he goes to either one of those.
Two organizations that happen to have some serious Patriots roots. Obviously,
Yes.
Patriots, but then you got Vrabel. You're certainly letting your Patriots flag fly here. Okay, first of all, do you think he had to have known he was live on the air, right? Do you think he knew that? I mean, because that call was Shannon Sharp, like that was it was weird. He straight up on the phone said he wanted out of there on national TV.
Yeah, I think he knew.
Do you think it was coordinated, right?
Yeah.
Some people are like, "Oh, that's messed up. Shannon Sharp didn't tell him they were on air. He's got to tell him sooner." There's no way that had to have. I don't believe in coincidences like that. At least that had to
There's
have
no
been
way.
coordinated,
There's no way it was not coordinated.
right?
100% it was. Sure. But the man wants to be a winner. I love it. Let's go. New England.
Hopefully, he wants to embrace the Patriot way as well. I think it's well documented at this point that maybe it's not the most fun place to play, but you're right. They do win a lot,
It's not a
except for
fun
last
place to
year.
play for losers. Okay.
It, your love for the Patriots, you would think that you played there for 10 years or something. The way you
No.
love that organization. It's ridiculous.
Well, who knows? Who knows what would have happened?
Would you rather have Tannehill or Mac Jones if you're Julio? It's got to be Tannehill, right? Mac Jones hadn't done anything in the league, but he is. A lot of people comped him to Matt Ryan, right?
Yeah, that's true. Are we convinced that Mac Jones is going to be the guy?
Well, unless Cam Newton, unless his arm regenerates and he can throw the ball farther than 25 yards.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he won't be the starter right away, but you got to assume that they're going to want to get a they're going to want to have a quarterback on the field that can throw the football.
If Mac Jones wears the red 50 jersey that he was practicing in, then yes, I say he should go to New England with Mac Jones.
It was such an ugly picture. It was awesome.
I don't
Okay,
know. I think that oh gosh, I'm drawing a blank. Tennessee's other wide receiver.
AJ Brown.
Yeah, and you got Jonnu Smith, the tight end, who really had a nice year.
Nope, he's a Patriot now.
A Patriot now, even
Yeah,
better. There we
remember he got signed
go.
in free agency.
That's
Isn't that
right.
right?
That may be right. Yeah. I like both. I think they're both a really good fit for him. I do. He wouldn't have to be the only guy because of the great running game in Tennessee. Um, I do think that New England's offense has a ways to go. Like they've got to figure some things out, and quarterback play will obviously be a key there. But wherever Julio Jones goes, we know he's going to make an impact.
Yeah, when healthy, still an absolute monster. Okay, who do you have as your loser of the week?
Well, whenever it came out, it sounds like a good thing for Deshaun Watson that the earliest he could be deposed over this civil case that he's got going right now is February of 2022. That sounds like a good thing. And I know there's still some teams interested uh, in trading for him, but I mean, most likely, I think that if he's going to be playing football this year, it's going to be for Houston. And that is a death sentence because that team has nobody left. Even though last year they were down and he had one of the greatest seasons that you could ever imagine as a quarterback. And they won, what, 4 games? I think he either led or was number 2 in the NFL in passing, had like only 3 interceptions, rushed for a couple too. So he had a great year last year. But, man, he is going back to a team that has nobody left, and they are going to be terrible.
That is going to be a brutal. I mean, that's going to be brutal for Deshaun Watson. Clearly, with that, I mean, when he's got that Lehman over him, I wonder how well he's going to even be able to play. Right, mental focus is so important at the quarterback position, and yikes! And then it is going to be a zoo for that man every road game. Yeah. The signs, what people are going to say to him, the chants. Oh, no, it's going to be ugly, man. I mean, it ugly.
Is. I
don't feel bad for him. I know, once again,
right.
Let the process play out. You know, innocent until proven guilty. But, whew, that's going to be. Whew.
I'll tell you what's. And I haven't followed along really closely, but it sounds like a lot of the case or some of the stuff has fallen apart for the I guess the plaintiff in this still, because there's rumors out there that they've tried to settle multiple times, and Deshaun Watson has said that he wants the settlement amount made public. And the other attorney, I think Busby for the other side, has like said some things, then denied them and walked them back. And they're in discovery right now. And I don't know. And a lot of it is always posturing, but just by reading some of the stuff on it, it's starting to feel like Deshaun Watson's side feels like they have the upper hand in this deal, and they're gonna run it out as long as they can and try and get this thing going. And they want to call people out. There's already been, I think, a couple of people back out of the case on the other side. So I don't know. It's fascinating, but yeah, it's going to be a rough year with that hanging over your head, playing on a terrible football team where you don't want to be, where he said verbally that he does not want to be there. That makes for a miserable year.
Monitoring Twitter during Texans games is going to be, it's going to be a bloodbath. Okay, Ted, for my winner of the week, thought about going with the PGA Tour because they are desperately trying to figure out what life after Tiger Woods is going to be like. And Brooks Koepka and Bryson DeChambeau hating each other just might be the new best thing in golf. That video is incredible. It's one of the best videos I've ever seen, ever.
It's so good that I've even questioned whether or not it's like legitimate or if they're like playing this up for everyone. You know what I'm saying? It's like he is so animated, rolling his eyes. Oh man, it's just...
the disdain is so real. Did you see the DeChambeau video? Some guy, like, he drives the ball, and some guy's like, "That away, Brooksy," and he's like, "Hey, whoever's calling me Brooksy needs to get out of here." I love that these guys hate each other. I will say this: it has turned into an all-time meme. I mean, the look on Koepka's face. It's one of the most memeable things ever. It's fantastic. This is good for golf.
Yeah.
It's something that intrigues people. I know next time they're playing in a tournament, like, I want them to be in the final group together every single time because I know they hate each other. And that is good for golf, and golf needs some of these storylines. They need some of these things like this. And I think it's amazing. It's incredible.
Did you see the Barkley and Shaq one?
Oh,
Uh,
there's so many. If you haven't seen the memes, go find them.
It's
They're
great.
they're
It's so
amazing.
good.
I also thought about going with Pizza Hut because they have partnered with OU softball to create Home Run Village. Home
I
Run
love it.
Village. It'll be there for the Super Regional in Norman when they take on Washington this weekend. It's going to be free with a big jumbotron to watch the game. There's going to be music. There's going to be food. Sounds awesome, right? Pizza, watch some
It does.
softball because
Yeah,
it's
wear
sold
a
out,
hard hat
right?
back there.
Yeah, you better keep your head on a swivel.
That's right.
Or
I think it
Alo
is
kill
awesome.
someone.
Yeah, that's really cool. I imagine there's gonna be a lot of people out there as long as the weather stays decent. I think that's a great idea. It's kind of like what the Thunder did at their playoff games back in the day. It's
Thunder
gonna be
Alley
cool. Yep.
before someone decided to fire a gun during it,
Right.
ruined an awesome
That's
thing.
why we can't have good things, people.
What's wrong with people? So I assume that Home Run Village is going to be a hell of a time. But my winner of the week, OU basketball, because Trae Young and Blake Griffin are balling in the NBA playoffs. Now we're recording this before game 2 of the Hawks and Knicks series, but Trae Young was fantastic in game 1, had 32 points, including that game-winning floater, got to shush Madison Square Garden. Now, his technique on the shush, it was what it was. I know some people were giving him a hard time for the shushing technique, but that was a big-time performance. I mean, he played so well, and the Knicks fans ended up hating him so much. They were chanting "F you, Trae Young" the entire game, and Knicks fans were so salty about it. And even New York City's mayor talked trash about Trae Young the
Love
day
it.
after that game. I mean, he's in Knicks fans' head. I love it. I'm sure his game 2 performance will be impressive, but I'm also really happy for Blake Griffin. He's out there dunking on fools again. He was giving us some left-hand finishes over people in game 2 against the Celtics, and that series is over. But when you look at Blake, like everyone thought he was washed, he's become a key player for the Nets. And I know the Nets are the villain of the NBA, and you feel gross cheering for him, but I just can't cheer against Blake, especially he's become one of their best defenders. I mean, he is playing clutch minutes for them. He's playing at a high level. He's extremely efficient, passing the basketball. He's just turned into, I mean, he's not the star player he once was, but he's a really pivotal player for that team. I know a lot of people look at it and it's Durant and Kyrie and Harden, and that may be true, but old Blake Griffin's back, man. It's fun to watch him succeed after having some tough luck the last couple of seasons, Ted.
Yeah.
It is unfortunate it's for the Nets, though. I get it.
You
It's
know
just
what's
like,
weird? And I don't know. I can't control this. It's just how it happens. There's either something in me that despises a team or there's not. And for whatever reason, I kind of like the Nets. I
I'm
don't
with
know
you.
why.
You want to know why? Because they're incredible at basketball. They share the ball. They move. The shot making with Kyrie, Harden's ability to create, his ability to pass. I mean, Kevin Durant, one of the most skilled 7-footer we've ever seen. Like,
It's fun. It's fun to watch. And
if you take away the feelings about Durant and about Harden, and you take away the sadness of the Harden trade and what that meant for the franchise, and you take away what he did, forcing his way out of Houston, if you take away Kyrie being a complete weirdo, if you strip all of that away and you're just looking at the product when it comes to basketball, they're the best team to watch. It's incredible to watch. Their skill level, their ability, I mean, it's amazing. It's beautiful to watch. You
I
don't have
think
to like it, but
I think my anger with Kevin Durant stayed in Golden State whenever he left. I mean, the the reason he left, or the reason for the anger whenever he left Oklahoma City, was for where he went. And during that time, it was like he went to their biggest rival. I mean, say what you want. Like at that time, those two teams were battling it out. That's why that was so painful, and that's why uh, Thunder fans were so angry. I mean, there's a bunch of reasons, I guess, but
Number
for
one
me,
reason, because he ruined our 4th of July. That's the number one reason.
right?
I was in California. I was drunk at 9 a.m. True story. Just started drinking vodka at like 8:30 in the morning. Was drunk by now. I was not in a good place.
When in doubt, just pour another one, I guess. But whenever he left Golden State, to me, it's kind of like a new start. And for whatever reason, I've enjoyed watching that team. They're incredibly talented, like you said. Whenever Blake Griffin joined the mix, that was just more for it. So I'm down. I hope they win the whole thing.
People are going to judge you for saying that, but I kind of hope they do too.
Well, who else am I supposed to cheer for? I mean,
that's a good point. But are we supposed to cheer for the Mavs? Like, ugh. We'll get to that.
Maybe,
definitely
but
cheered.
definitely, I will not. I refuse to cheer for the Lakers.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely not. Okay, for my loser of the week, thought about going with Cleveland Indians pitcher Zach Plesac. I think I'm saying that right. Maybe it's Plesac. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend that I knew who this guy was before I read this. But he fractured his thumb, had a rough start, had a rough outing, and he fractured his thumb when he was, quote, rather aggressively ripping off his shirt and got it caught on a chair at his locker. Ted, we love dumb injuries. This one's up there. I wonder, was it like he's ripping it off over the head? Was he ripping it like Hulk Hogan style? Like what kind of shirt ripping are we talking here that led to the thumb fracture?
I'm not buying it. I think it was a poorly placed punch somehow.
Ooh, punch the wall.
Something. You
broke
don't,
the thumb though. Maybe
he
he went
did,
thumb on the outside of the fist like an idiot.
or like whenever your kid first learns to punch and they tuck their thumb underwards
Don't do
under
that.
the. I don't know, but I cannot imagine a scenario in which ripping a shirt off breaks your thumb. I guess I could be wrong, but it's baseball guys, man. Over and over and over, it's these ridiculous injuries. It's amazing. I don't know.
It is. It truly
Very
is.
fragile players.
It truly is amazing. I also thought about going with people that don't like Guy Fieri. You see how I fancied that up?
That
Fieri.
was good.
If those people exist, I don't know. There's people out there that don't like to go to Flavortown. I know that, right? He's not for everyone, but if you don't like Guy Fieri, this week was not your week because our man Guy Fieri signed a 3-year, $80 million contract extension with Food Network. And I'm here to tell you, Ted, that guy deserves every penny because there are few things better on planet Earth than getting drunk early on a Saturday and being in bed by about 8:30 and watching a Triple D marathon. That is the dream.
I'm going to need someone to somehow convince me otherwise that we don't live in the greatest country in the history of the world, where a fat guy with frosted tips at his hair, spiked hair, can get paid $80 million to go around and eat food. That's really it. That's it. Do what you love. The guy loves to eat food. It shows. I mean, there's nothing groundbreaking going on. It's like, oh my God, I can't believe this. Who would have thought of putting salt and pepper in their chili on a hot dog? This is the best hot dog I've ever had. Hey, give credit to the guy. It's entertaining. People are watching it. The ratings have to be good. Food Network's making money off of it. He gets his piece of the pie and gets to do something that everyone loves. And here's the thing, man. Like, he makes more than a bunch of athletes, that requires a ton of work and a ton of skill. And, it's a grind on your body. There's pain. It's a year round thing. He's shooting a season. He probably stays at a great hotel, flies in private, 3 days hanging out, eating food at diners. That's amazing.
He truly is living my dream. Now, once again, he seems like he's a pretty, I don't know if accomplished is the right word, but respected chef. Like he clearly put a ton of time into this, built up the clout, built his reputation, and has the charisma and all those things. But you mentioned him, kind of comparing to other athletes when it comes to compensation. I saw this from a couple of different people. Guy Fieri would be the 15th highest paid player in the National Football League with this contract. He'd be making more than Tom Brady. He is making more than Tom Brady.
It's amazing to show up. It's the lowest pressure job you could ever have. It's not like there's a whole lot of production put into what they do. You just show up, have some good energy, be fun, eat some good food, throw around a couple of chef terms, and that's it. Fantastic.
God bless this country. God bless America.
Right.
But my loser of the week, and I'm going to keep milking this because watching them lose is so satisfying for me, Ted. The Los Angeles Clippers. Kawhi had 30 points in the first half. He ends up with 41. Paul George didn't shoot it well, especially from three, but had 28. And they lost. They were outdueled by Luka Doncic. No shame in that. But they got that work from Tim Hardaway Jr., who was shooting the lights out. And the Clippers are now in an 0-2 hole against the Mavs. They lost both games on their home floor and simply have no answer for Luka Doncic. And I don't know if anyone does, but you just hate to see it, Ted, after they lost their last two games on purpose to get this matchup so they could avoid the Lakers, so that they could ruin the Thunder's lottery odds. And, well, it's such a shame that they're not, hopefully not going to get out of the first round. I stayed up. This game finished late. It finished after midnight. I stayed up instead of getting sleep to watch them lose because it makes me feel so good. I think I might have a problem.
I'll tell you something that's fascinating. There's some serious sports curses going on or have gone on in the past, but Playoff P needs to take a page out of the Ted Lasso book and bring in a couple of personal items and burn them because he needs to ditch that curse. Since he made that statement in Oklahoma City, he has been terrible in the playoffs. So I don't know. They have not been able to capitalize very much on their talent advantage. And I'm with you. Hey, I don't really care for the Dallas Mavs, but in this situation, let's go. I'm all in.
Well, Luka's he's spectacular. They're pretty boring to watch, though, the way that they play. I mean, it's basically give the ball to Luka, high pick and roll, let him do his thing, get the switch. And now he's a great passer and all that stuff. Like he's a magician, there's no doubt. But they're boring to watch. But I hope they sweep them. I really do. And just a reminder, Kawhi Leonard, I believe, will be a free agent this summer. And just a reminder, the Thunder have all of their draft picks because of the Paul George trade. And it looks like they just might end up with absolutely nothing to show for it. And that brings me great joy. It does. Maybe that's not how I'm supposed to approach things, Ted, but I take joy in their suffering. I do.
I'm with you. I'm not convinced that Kawhi Leonard's going to continue playing basketball. He may just be like, I'm good. I'm done with it.
Just, that was fun while it lasted. I'm gonna go chill. 41. He was great in that first half, but just not enough. Let's go Mavs.